highest populated areas. Now, on to Cienfuegos.
Coming up on UCF Nightly News, ESPN's College Game Day is in town. Learn more about what this means for UCF.
Plus, yesterday was the deadline for Election Day recounts in Florida. Find out what resulted from the process.
And learn more about UCF's new partnership with Nemours Children's Hospital.
In sports, we'll have a preview of tomorrow's football game versus Cincinnati and a look at men's soccer NCAA tournament run.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Storer.
And I'm Kinsey Hicks. Today is Friday, November 16th, 2018.
UCF is hosting Cincinnati tomorrow in a big matchup of college football playoff ranked teams. As a result, ESPN College Game Day is here at UCF. Let's go to Nightly News reporter Evan Abramson, who was at Memory Mall, to bring us the action.
Yeah, Alex and Kenzie, simply put, it's been a year of first for UCF football, and now with ESPN College Game Day here for Cincinnati versus UCF, fans can't get enough of the opportunity to show ESPN College Game Day and the nation what UCF football is really all about.
I'd say it's overdue by probably about 9 or 10 games. I mean, as of last season being undefeated and not getting the respect in the playoff rankings, I mean, I'd say it's about time they finally decided to show up.
And show up they did. Yesterday, Game Day pulled up to a group of energetic UCF fans going absolutely crazy. A little nugget, a little nitro, and a whole lot of cheering.
Oh, it means so much to us. This is the UCF DPT group. We're so excited for Game Day to be here. We've been waiting for 22 games now for Game Day to recognize us and show up to our campus, and we're just going to show them they've been missing out for a long time.
The UCF football team is 9-0 and is number 11 in the most recent CFB playoff rankings. Cincinnati is number 24 in those rankings, so ESPN finally caved to the idea of hosting Game Day in Orlando.
I can tell you something. When I was transferred over here to UCF, I never thought I'd have the chance to ever be on Game Day. It was a dream of mine ever since I was like 8 years old. It's insane that it's here and such a great opportunity. I love that the team's doing great, obviously. Got to get another dub on Saturday.
Now, while College Game Day starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday, the pit behind the stage will open at 6:30 a.m. But if you want to get a good spot, show off your school spirit and your creative signs, you better get there way earlier in the morning. I'm Evan Abramson from Nightly News. Now back to you, Alex and Kenzie at the news desk.
Thanks, Evan. The game is set for 8 p.m. on ABC, a primetime slot on TV. Evan, along with Nightly News reporters Nathaniel Rivas and Zach Winicky, will be out at Spectrum Stadium tomorrow night with all the coverage. Make sure to stick around for the sports segment later in the show as Jessica Herman brings us the game preview.
The first phase of election recounts in Florida ended yesterday. One of the 3 races appears to be over, but 2 are moving on to the next step of the process. Nightly News reporter Alex Storer took a look at the process and how things are going in Orange County in comparison to the controversy in South Florida.
Orange County elections officials were hard at work this week, recounting 480,000 ballots cast locally this election. This recount was triggered automatically under Florida law because 3 races appeared to be decided by less than 0.5% of the vote. Here in Orange County, the supervisor of elections says his operation is going off without a hitch.
It's been rather smooth, but it's time consuming, and because we're a now society, everybody wants the results now, but it's methodical.
The initial count from Election Day will stand in Palm Beach County, where local officials missed the machine recount deadline yesterday due to outdated technology.
The software and the machine can only process 1 recount at a time. Every other tabulating machine in the state apparently can do all 3 at once. but hers cannot. And they're old, and she said they're older. They're 10 or 12 years old.
Although Orange County's process is moving smoothly, one lawyer who works for the supervisor of elections thinks the 12 days allotted for the process isn't enough.
On something like this, a triple statewide recount, it's simply too much of a challenge to be done without causing employees to be strained at facilities that can handle it and other facilities to not be able to handle it at all.
Florida Secretary of State Ken Detzner ordered manual recounts yesterday of over and under votes where the voters selected no candidates or too many in the Senate and Commissioner of Agriculture races. That step of the process is to be completed by Sunday. In Orlando, Alex Storer, UCF Nightly News.
Broward County also missed yesterday's machine recount deadline by 2 minutes. Although vote totals shifted in each race, it hasn't been enough to change the winners. Local officials think the manual recount is also unlikely to flip results.
While the state is busy counting ballots, UCF officials are counting dollars. The law firm conducting the investigation into UCF misspending nearly $50 million plans to deliver a final report before the Board of Governors meeting in January. As a part of the ongoing investigation, the law firm continues to review emails, reports, financial records, and other relevant documents. They've collected the entire contents of the email accounts of certain employees and are running targeted searches on those accounts. The team is also actively interviewing both current and former UCF employees. Yesterday, they conducted over 30 interviews, and they'll be on campus again this week conducting more.
UCF is now considered a permanent research university. According to UCF records, the retention rate reached 90% this semester. The Florida Board of Governors requires at least a 90% retention rate when determining preeminence standing. Last year, UCF was at a 89.6%. So student development and enrollment services officials implemented Operation 90% to make sure UCF reached 90%. The higher retention of first-year students will boost UCF's future graduation rates.
UCF and Nemours Children's Hospital are partnering up for a first-ever program. They'll be giving schooling to chronically ill children while they're in the hospital. Nightly News reporter Jessica Herman tells us more about this teaching program.
A marine biologist.
That's what Ella Green, a 9-year-old suffering from Ewing sarcoma, wants to be when she grows up. With the creation of PEDS Academy, that goal for Ella isn't so far away. The program uses virtual reality and robots to teach students science, technology, engineering, and math. It was designed specifically for children with chronic and critical illness in the hospital. Megan Nichols, creator and faculty director of PEDS Academy, says this was just a dream 7 years ago, and it's exciting to see what it's become.
First time that we put her in the VR, I wish that I had a full tape of that. It's like screaming.
Robert Green, Ella's dad, says this program is important because sick children miss school from days to weeks.
It means a lot. My daughter sometimes, she's in the hospital for up to 6 days at a time. It helps her continue her education.
Green says not only does it help her education, it allows her to be a normal child for a little.
Gets her out of the hospital room for a few minutes or an hour, 2 hours.
Each year, 8 out of 100 children are hospitalized in the United States. PEDS Academy teaches up to 60 children a day at Nemours. Patients can join the program the day they are admitted. Teaching is for children up to 12th grade and is also available for siblings of the patients.
PEDS Academy is a blessing for all the children and even the parents and families that have children in the hospital.
In Orlando, Jessica Herman, UCF Nightly News.
The program is funded through grants and private donations. UCF and Nemours have high hopes this partnership will continue to change lives.
In recognition of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, UCF groups are highlighting support services for the less fortunate. UCF hosted a community services showcase Thursday. Attendees were treated to cooking demos, free groceries, and fresh produce. They also learned how to donate to those in need in the UCF community. UCF Arboretum volunteer Jeff Garrido stresses the importance of healthy living and eating. He wants students to be aware of on-campus services.
Resource here on campus is the Nights and Nights Pantry. So it's where we usually donate all of this produce we grow. And we grow a lot of it. We grow pounds and pounds of it. And we harvest it every day. And we donate most of all of that to the Nights and Nights Pantry. So even if students are less fortunate, they don't have a lot of money to spend on food, they can still eat healthy.
Students can visit the Knights Helping Knights Pantry at Farrell Commons, as well as utilize campus resources such as the Arboretum and Fresh U Kitchen.
We're finally experiencing some cooler weather, and it only took until the middle of November.
Right? I can finally pull out my sweaters. Nathaniel, how's the weather looking outside today?
That's right, it's definitely sweater weather right now. Really pull out that sweater and enjoy this cool weather. Take a look at our current conditions right now. It is 56 degrees outside, about 62% humidity, a little bit of a breeze out there, about 7 miles an hour coming in from the north with no chance of rain today. So really soak in that cool weather, a lot of sun, not a lot of clouds if you're getting there early for college game day, whether you're going on some tents. Make sure to bring a sweater. Just enjoy the weather out today. I was able to enjoy it coming into work today, driving in the car with the windows down, had a really great time. Now the question is, how long will this cool weather last? Well, I'll have the answer for you in a couple minutes with your 5-day forecast. But for now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Coming up, finals are quickly approaching. Find out some ways you can fight unwanted stress toward the end of the semester.
Plus, we are currently in the middle of Veterans Month. Learn about a unique form of therapy geared towards vets.
We'll be right back. With finals approaching, students are already feeling the stress. Stress.org reports that 8 in 10 college students experience stress in their everyday lives. The Journal of Neurology released a new study on how stress can cause memory loss and even brain shrinkage. Higher stress means higher levels of the hormone cortisol in your blood. The hormone can shut down several bodily functions and make you focus on your stressors. UCF student Jonathan Trufant says he faces a lot of stress due to his disabilities, but that he has coping mechanisms he can turn to.
I have a really great support system of friends that help me deal with things as they happen, as they occur. So even when I'm like pulling hair out, I know I have a good support system to help me out with what I'm dealing with.
Trufant has been going to counseling and psychological services on campus for the past year and recommends their services to anyone dealing with stress.
A nonprofit in Central Florida is providing a unique form of therapy. This therapy is catered towards Central Florida veterans. Nightly News reporter Ramaya Thicklin tells us just what this group is doing to help.
That's it. There you go. Good job. Army veteran John Mealy is getting acquainted with Gravity, a therapy horse at Freedom Ride Orlando. This nonprofit company offers an equine therapy riding program for adults and children with disabilities. Equine therapy simply means therapy involving horses. This organization also works with veterans to help them with stress and PTSD. It's Mealy's second day with the horses. He says it's a new experience for him.
It is something new and kind of uncomfortable at first, but then once you get to know the horse and then kind of build that partnership and bond, I think it's really beneficial because it does give you that kind of intimacy with something that's, just a wild animal.
Mealy worked on leading, trotting, and command drills. Freedom Ride Orlando's website says the movement of a horse is therapeutic because it relaxes the muscles. Jeff DeSantis, one of the horse trainers, says the horses are great for therapy because they remain calm around people.
You get them around a crowd of people and all that, it keeps them calm. They learn to stay calm instead of being off on their own and that. So when they get around a bunch of people, they get to be calm, and at the same time they calm the people that work with them.
Equine therapist Karen Bobinger says the horses can sense emotions a veteran is going through.
If a veteran comes in and he's having a bad day and he's nervous or he's having PTSD, the horse will help him calm down. It will help bring those emotions in check, and a lot of that is just developing that relationship with a 1,000-pound animal and spending time with him and getting to know him.
Gravity and the other horses continue to assist the veterans. In Orlando, Raymaya Thicklin, UCF Nightly News.
The veterans meet every week at Freedom Ride. You can learn more about their other programs at freedomride.com.
Coming up, we'll check back in with Nathaniel for our highs and lows across the state and our 5-day forecast.
Plus, we give you a look at Orange County Fire Rescue's first ceremony for first responders and survivors after this break.
Orange County Fire Rescue honored over 150 people Wednesday. Medal Day recognizes first responders and survivors. Medal Day took place at Full Sail Live. It awards first responders and their life-saving efforts. This is the department's first time hosting a ceremony of this magnitude. Helping to present 4 of the 7 life-saving awards were some very special guests, the survivors. Alex Berg, a first responder who received a life-saving award, looked forward to reuniting with the man whose life he saved at a football game 4 years ago.
We've been in touch over the years, and so when I heard finally that they were going to honor me here, I immediately called him and I said, hey, I'm like, they're doing this, you got to be here, and so he came too, so it really became a cool event.
Surrounded by a large crowd, including his friends and family. They took over CPR and
Berg saved Jim Reeves' life at a UCF football game in October 2014. He says that although receiving the medal is an honor, it's knowing that he had an impact on someone's life that means the most. Now let's see if those cooler temperatures are here to stay.
Yeah, Nathaniel, how's the weather looking for tomorrow's football game?
It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow, I can guarantee that. But for right now, let's take a look at our neighbors around the state. Tallahassee right now for a high is 60. Jacksonville across the state is 59 degrees. Orlando and Tampa are both 66 degrees. And Miami down south is going to be 76 today for a high. Now, as we look at our lows, you can see some of the cities are going to be pretty chilly tonight, especially Tallahassee with 38 degrees for a high. Jacksonville's 44, Orlando 50, Tampa 48, and Miami's going to be 68 degrees tonight down south. Now, as we look at our 5-day forecast, you can see that it's still going to be very nice for the week. Football game is going to have a high of 77, very clear skies. The soccer game on Sundays even going to be in the low 80s. The rest of the week, the lows are going to be in the high 50s, so really make sure to bundle up before you go home for Thanksgiving. Enjoy this cool weather here while you are still in Orlando. The highs will only be in the high 70s, so take advantage of this cool weather while you can. Now, back to the desk.
Up next, we're giving you a preview of UCF's primetime game against Cincinnati and what a win would mean for the Knights.
Plus, the men's soccer team is ready for the NCAA tournament. Evan Abramson has more on their game against Lipscomb Sunday when we come back.
College game day at UCF. It's a primetime matchup between the UCF Knights and the Cincinnati Bearcats. And the UCF men's soccer team is preparing for its Sunday night matchup with Lipscomb for the second round of the NCAA tournament. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. I'm Jessica Herman, and here's what's going on in the UCF sports news. With a primetime kickoff in a sold-out stadium, the number 11 Knights host the number 24 Cincinnati Bearcats. This is the last regular season home game. A Knights win will clinch the East Division and a spot in the American Athletic Conference Championship. Although the Knights are averaging about 44 points per game, The Bearcats are only allowing an average of 15 points per game. At stake is a 22-game unbeaten streak, the nation's longest active streak. However, sophomore running back Greg McCrae says he and the team take it all one game at a time.
It's our motto, 1-0. You know, we're focused on this week at hand right now. You know, we're not looking towards the future. We're looking at what we have at our hand right now. So, you know, that's the mentality we come in with every day, that we're going to prepare for the day that we have and for the week that we have, for the team we have.
Last week, UCF rushed for 297 total yards versus Navy. The Knights averaged 271 yards in passing and rushing this season. Kickoff against Cincinnati is set for 8 p.m. on ABC. Number 9 in the nation, and the Knights are ready for the NCAA tournament. The UCF men's soccer team is in the tournament for the first time since 2011. Nightly News reporter Evan Abramson tells us more about Sunday's big matchup.
Scott Calabrese has only been here at UCF for 2 years, and he's already changed the team's culture and brought home a regular season AAC title. Now, the UCF men's soccer coach has managed his team into the NCAA tournament as a 14th seed combined with a first-round bye.
So it was simultaneously a relief to see it, and then also really exciting to know here we are, we're in the tournament, our season continues, and we have this chance at, we're competing for a national championship.
Having played to a 13-2-3 record, the Knights will be playing host to Lipscomb Sunday at 6 p.m. Lipscomb took down the number 25 Washington Huskies last night in a 5-4 shootout after playing a scoreless game all the way through.
We're really just going to worry about ourselves, and then when we find out our opponent, we'll look a little more into them, but it's more about what we can do.
What can you guys do?
Just play our game, play good soccer, and then hopefully get a good result.
Now the Knights will get back midfielder Yoni Sorokin, who missed the AAC Finals versus SMU because of a red card from his previous game. Coach Calabrese says forward Hadabu Berry should be back after missing the last match with some tightness in his hamstring. But sophomore midfielder Louis Perez, who has been unbelievable this year with UCF, probably won't be playing.
It's still not set in stone because there's MRIs to do, and you know, there's just preliminary talk about it, so I don't want to speculate when we don't have full facts, but it's not looking like he will be back for that match.
The game will kick off Sunday night at 6 p.m. Tickets are available online, or you can watch the game on UCFKnights.tv. In Orlando, Evan Abramson, UCF Nightly News.
Star striker Cal Jennings will be an important part of Sunday's match. Calabrese will rely on Jennings' fast break scores as well as a good defense by the UCF backline and goalkeeper Yannick Edel. And that's all the time we have for today for UCF Sports. Back to Alex and Kinsey at the desk.
Thanks, Jessica. That's all our time for right now. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our Twitter at UCF Nightly News.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@gmail.com. Influencers from all over the